Hi guys, it's been a minute since I've been on here, so I hope everyone's doing really well. Please give me any updates. I love getting all the DMs from you guys. It's super lovely just to get to know you. And someone's coming to join us. Yeah, but it's been so busy on my side. I've been doing work, I've had family from Europe come and stay at my place. And because my place is already quite crazy with just the kids and I, it's not the biggest place in the world. Having, family stay here as well has meant it's super crazy. So yeah, but we have been going out and exploring a lot, and yeah, so not that much for me to update apart from I've just been spending time with family, working, and obviously because I'm doing this on the side as an extra, it's not always something I can give the most time to, but I am a little bit more free now, so hopefully I'll be able to commit to it a bit more. Not that it's the biggest news, but I kind of like matcha now.
Right.
So my sister basically said that most matcha out there is not the best quality. It's quite old, and so even though they'll freshly make it for you there, the actual matcha they're using is quite aged or quite old, so the quality of it really does matter. So she got me some ceremonial grade matcha, and then we did pop into London as well, and we had 2 spots that were highly recommended by someone we know who loves matcha. And those matchas I actually could drink. Because the rest of it, I don't know, it just feels like I'm drinking supplement powder. And yeah, because we tried a Starbucks one and it just tasted diluted, it wasn't good. So anyone that's trying that, I get why you wouldn't like it. But this one, I'm making it at home. Although I do add a little bit of syrup or honey to it and some milk. So this one I can drink, I quite like it. But yeah. That's me, nothing major or super exciting. I've just been living life and vibing. Yeah, grateful for the mundane. Although, if not extremely obvious, I have gone very blonde. So naturally, my baby, my youngest brother, he is so blonde. I am astonished because there's only, I think, my great aunt who's had that blonde of a hair colour. So I feel very like I need to match him. And so even though naturally I am a blonde, is what I've been labelled by a lot of hairdressers. So you could say I'm a light brown hair colour or dark blonde. I have always fluctuated with my hair colour just naturally. I don't really know what explains that, but the same with my body type as well. Someone's just staring me through the window. I'm like, whoo. But
Excellent.
yeah, so the hair colour has fluctuated, but I've decided, you know what, I'm in my 20s. If I'm going to go bleach blonde, it may as well be now. So this is a sort of colour that we're dealing with, although I think need to do my roots at some point. But regardless of that, bleach blonde, yeah. I'm also going to highlight that the camera quality is going to be crap because a certain baby, we're not going to point names, we're not going to blame the finger, but a certain baby that is right here decided it would be so hilarious to smash up my phone. So the back camera is just, it's gone. I don't know if you can see, but the back camera is properly like cracked. It's so dead. And that probably, it's not like I have the best phone right now anyway, but these are quite expensive. So it's never really the top of my priority list to get a new phone. So, and also the fact that they do have a tendency of grabbing phones and just chucking them across. Like the front screen of my camera, it has like these black bubbles on it. I don't know how to show them to you, but yeah, it's cracked. I've got it repaired already, and I'm just there like, I will hold off getting a new phone for as long as possible so that we can reach a point of his toddler life where he's like not as likely to throw my phone around the way he has right now. So I'm just like, if I'm gonna get a new one, I don't want to be jumping to get it repaired like as soon as I get it, essentially. But anyways, so now that we've got all of the, I don't know, catching up out the way, and the fact that the camera quality is just not going to be there, and I hope you'll be forgiving. Oh my gosh, Arthur. I want to stop breastfeeding, by the way. I am like at my wit's end with this. My patience has run thin. It's so thin. We're near the finish mark because I'm just at like, of course it's the bestest thing in the world. It's liquid gold. It's so good, so healthy for you, for your baby, and then also for you. If you don't know, it actually burns calories, so yeah, it's not great because nutritionally you get the leftovers. But that being said, like, I feel like I'm getting away with eating a lot more sweet treats because I'm breastfeeding, which is always nice, especially when summer's literally around the corner. But I'm not sleeping and I want to sleep. So there is that. But anyways, so today's topic, I want to speak about how you can be soft but not a doormat, because I'm seeing a lot of social media incite the fact that you can be soft but then you need boundaries, and I think people are getting a little bit confused. So, you know, I want to highlight the fact that being gentle does not mean being weak. And I definitely was guilty of that before, because I really wanted to have a relationship where my soft side was out there and like I was feeling nurtured, but I forgot boundaries completely in pursuit of trying to be like, but I am soft and like this is a part of me. And you know, I think something that people need to realise is two truths can exist at once, which is so important, because people, I think, can get a bit lost in the fact that they want to be their best selves, they want to better themselves, constantly level up, and this is such a good thing to have, because some people just don't care and they want to be not their best selves and just stay that way, whereas I feel like, you know, your personal growth is a constant journey. It's the time for me to go get the others, so there's gonna be a break in the video. This is such a chaotic video today. Feels more like a lifestyle vlog, like, hey, was it day in the life of, kind of, because I've not really started my day with you guys, but blong 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 blong. We are in the car now. Arthur's very content with himself because he's wriggled his arms out of the arm bit. I, as a child, did not like seatbelts very much. I used to always find a way of like minimising the restraint that it had on me. And he is just the same. Literally, he has these like, because those of you that are not familiar with seatbelts, they tend to have like a whole body cover. So he has a whole body cover and he's just wriggled his arms out of that. I don't know if you can see, his arms should be in that, but he's decided to take them off, so. Just fixed Arthur's things, and yeah. Arthur's wriggled out again, and there's a delivery man blocking my way, and my neighbour's now watching me film this. This is really fun. I've already collected the kids, we're at home, I'm about to make dinner, but for some reason, even though it's so warm, I am so cold right now, so I'm gonna find like a jumper or something. I need to. Ow! Arthur just pinched me, and he's laughing. That's not funny. He's crying because I told him that he hurt me. Babies, like, you know, I think when you see men like get upset about someone's reaction, they're just man babies, because that's what babies do, literally. I told him he hurt me and now he's crying. Like I did something wrong. Oh, now he's happy because he's found a toy. Yeah. I don't know if this is a good angle or not, but we move. At least I'm warm and cozy now. It's really cold. I don't know why I'm so cold, because it's a nice day. It's nice warm weather, but like I just have a tendency of like feeling cold. But I think this is like someone called me, but I think the being cold is a universal girls thing, because more. Arthur really wanted some ice cream and he just literally looked at me and went, no more, and now he's going more. And yeah, I think he's learning words little by little. Hello? We've forgotten that you wanted ice cream. But yeah, so this really has become a sort of like a day in the life of, and you can somewhat see the chaos that mums go through when they're having kids. But you're dealing with a lot of emotional chaos. And yeah. I need to stop doing that. I'm a little bit too comfortable now. The main conversational point of today's video was to discuss the fact that you can be both soft and scary / standoffish when it's necessary. So I'm seeing a lot of content creators, influencers, and just pages out there try and advertise these soft archetypes of femininity and masculinity. So, you know, be in your soft feminine energy, be in your soft masculine energy, and a lot of what they discuss are very lovely, genuine points. However, I feel the comment sections that I'm reviewing are leaving little room for comprehension and confusing people a little bit, in the fact that you are also able to stand up for yourself and seem scary or standoffish when necessary. And it's okay if someone doesn't think you're gentle or genuine. So, you know, I think everyone's on a journey of trying to better themselves and improve themselves, which is so gorgeous, it's lovely. However, it's also really vital as a basic animal survival to know when you need to stand up for yourself. And I think women especially are the only kind of animal in the animal kingdom in general that will push down their instincts in fear of seeming impolite and, you know, not fitting that status quo of what women should look like. And I think that's such an important point that needs to be discussed and sort of cut off, because, you know, if you're in a parking space and someone is giving you the creeps and you just have this horrible gut feeling, you should listen to that gut feeling, not continue walking in a place that potentially could put you in danger just because you're scared that it may offend someone, or you may not seem as soft and genuine and polite as society may want you to, because that doesn't make sense. No animal will do that. The same with getting into a lift with a man that gives you the creeps. If he's a nice man, he will get it. It's the same way I see loads of people force kids to hug their relatives or people they don't know. And I'm just there like, no, don't do that. I read so much psychology on this to know that it does start at such an early age, and it is a little bit of society's kind of training faults, whereby, you know, there'll be a kid, they'll see Uncle Joe. Uncle Joe, for some reason, is not favoured by this child. And you'll see the mum or dad go, come on, give Uncle Joe a hug, give him a hug. And the kids, they're like, And then so the parents will turn around and be like, oh no, they're just shy. Oh, it's okay. Or like force that child to hug this uncle. Uncle Joe's a grown adult. He will be fine. Trust me. He will be fine. But what you've done to that child is, if you've said something about them to kind of society that they're too shy, then you're already ingraining that belief inside their system. Whereas if I see a child, or even with my own, a situation where they don't want to hug someone, I just say, oh, it's okay. They just like to take their time with people. They're very clever like that. And that teaches the child to trust their instincts, as well as assure to them that they have my support. And it's so important, I think, from day one. So if you have kids, or you've got kids in your life, or like, you know, you've got friends that have kids, that's such an important message to ingrain to them. But also, you need to start doing this with yourself. If something feels off, you don't need to explain why. There's so many scary situations and near misses of like really creepy situations I've read online and through people in main discussions of life, that I'm like, sometimes you don't need to know what that intention or what could have happened. You just need to leave it. You just know that you avoided something. And it's the same thing with life in general. If something feels off, it doesn't matter if you seem impolite. It doesn't matter if you seem standoffish. You're protecting your peace. And that is so, so important. And it's a part of being gentle and part of being soft, because you must protect that. If you want to flourish in your soft energy, you also need to know when your scary and standoffish energy needs to stand up and defend it. Hey, dinosaur! You scary dinosaur! Are you eating my neck? My hair is now a mess because my baby and I had some sort of like monster dinosaur sound recreation wrestling match thing just now, in a very innocent, playful way that you do with a 1-year-old. But now we're holding hands, which is so cute, so sweet. Now I'm apparently giving a head massage as per his hand requests. Yes, children for you, very, very much know what they want. But yeah, so I think as someone who has grappled with kind of being essentially a doormat because of my soft personality, I've had to learn the hard way that you can be soft but also know when to stand up for yourself. And it's so important that you do have both, because you don't want to be a doormat, you don't want to be walked over, you want to have the ability to allow your soft side to be a blessing rather than a curse. And in order for that to happen, you really do need to have the balance of both your gentle nurturing side and your more spicy standing up side. I witness a lot of times that people, especially from multicultural families, can be quite scared or feel a little bit embarrassed by the louder family members, by the ones that are very passionate. And I think they are actually somewhat essential in order for people to learn the skills about having that side of themselves come out as well. Because whether people like it or not, those loud family members, or the super passionate ones that are not scared to be loud, they're the ones that truly know how to stand up for not just themselves, but the family around them, their friends around them. When they see something wrong, they're not shy about taking a stand. And there most certainly is something to learn from that, because if you could choose being too passionate, too loud, over being too soft, too quiet, too introverted, I personally would choose the louder one, because at least I know, even if people think that I'm too loud, too passionate, I'm always going to be able to stand up for not just myself, but others around me. And that's something that I've had to learn over the course of my life, just because previously I was too shy, too scared, too worried about what other people thought, that I wasn't even living life for myself. And I think the broader message within this whole softness but being able to stand up for yourself is that you are doing this and finding yourself, living life for yourself, all for you. I think naturally there needs to be a duty of care for others, so you're not harming other people, you're not hurting others, and you're not hurting yourself. But in that process, when you're definitely not doing any of those things, your journey is all about being in competition with yourself from yesterday. You're not trying to get your parents' approval, you're not trying to get a partner's approval or society's. You are trying to genuinely find the parts of you that feel like home and make you feel like you're your best self, which I think is the challenge of a lot of people's lives, because I see so many people settle for relationships just because they want to tick that box in society to be like, I'm in a relationship. They'll settle for someone maybe who's just nice and they share common ground with. At that point, you know, there are points in life when people reach the biological ticking clocks of wanting to have children, and that seems like a viable option. But, you know, I also see so many people really early on settle for comfort relationships because they don't want to see if they can find someone who is better suited. They're scared of that. And I think we're sort of like in a point where I see society going in two different directions, where some people carry on this path of settling and sort of like fitting someone else's image of how they should live life, society's image. And then I'm seeing a kind of nice small group, but a rising group. There's a good crescendo in that, of people choosing to pause society's idea of how they should live life and are just sort of navigating on their own. Some people are choosing to have families in different ways, some people are choosing not to have families at all, and ultimately they're finding what works for them. And I think because we've had such a status quo way of living life, and society is more or less open to people being free to explore different ways and nuances of how to live life, that the journey is a bit more free and it doesn't feel so taboo to sort of talk about things, explore things in new ways. And, you know, especially when it comes to your character traits and character developments, which kind of links into what we're talking about now, it's completely okay to be in this explorative stage. And it doesn't matter what age you are. Maybe you're 40 something, maybe you're 60 something. You know, KFC started his business very late in life. You know, just because you haven't sorted your life out by the age of 10 years old, there's nothing wrong with that. It's a constant evolution of who you are. And just because you've lived X many years and you feel like you haven't developed yourself, you know, there's nothing tying you down to yesterday. So if you feel that you're too soft, it's okay to develop that standing up for yourself trait. But then likewise, if you feel that you're too passionate and you want to soften it down, there's nothing tying you down to being exclusively one thing. But I also think that it's sort of about developing all the different levels of life and having them in balance. You know, I think anything too much is not great, but lacking is also not great either. The only thing we need to lack of is trauma, harm, and abuse. That can go away and never come back, but everything else, I feel like, you know, as long as you can be soft and kick ass, you're good.